Hey everyone, this is KJ, and I am back with another video. This time, my TBA Season 3 Week 1 matchup analysis. This week, I'm facing the Seattle Slakings and their coach Tun. Tun has been very successful in TBA. TBA Season 2, I believe, Tun made the semifinals in the Majors League. Uh, he ended up losing to the eventual champion, but it was a very competitive match, and Tun had a very good record, was very successful, as I mentioned. So yeah, this is going to be a very interesting match. As you can see, I have his team posted: Tornadus Therian, Weavile, Poltegeist, Rhyperior, Alcremie, Luxray, Mega Gallade, Arcanine, Ferrothorn, Milotic, and Unfezant. Uh, the first thing that kind of jumps out to me with this team is the Firewater Grass Core. Arcanine, Ferrothorn, and Milotic do a ton of different things for each other and cover each other very well. It's going to be a very difficult core to break with Arcanine's Intimidate and then just the sheer bulk of Ferrothorn, as well as Milotic's ability to act as a special wall or a physical wall with the ability Marvel Scale. I really have to get creative on how I want to try to break that. The next thing that I really want to highlight with this team is just the sheer speed. I mean, Tornadus Therian as well as Weavile very fast. Weavile has access to Ice Shard, which is priority, and then Tornadus Therian is just incredibly fast and is one of the fastest pivots in the game with access to U-turn. He also has a lot of access to knockoff. I know both Tornadus and Weavile get it. Mega Gallade also has access to knockoff, and so does Ferrothorn. So that's another thing that I have to keep an eye out on. And then just this team, other than the things that I already highlighted, like the ability for Rhyperior to be a physical wall, Alcremie to be a special wall, Unfezant is somewhat of a reliable defogger, and then you have a slow Volt Switcher with, or a slower Volt Switcher, I should say, potentially with Luxray, as well as just a Guts attacker. Like the ability Guts is incredibly strong and can't overlook that. And then last but not least, there's Poltegeist, which is incredibly scary and has a great matchup against most teams, being able to Shell Smash, potentially recover the stat drops with White Herb, and then if it's Focus Sash, be able to actually recover the HP with Giga Drain. Plus 2 Giga Drain definitely hurts. So yeah, I needed to keep all of that in mind when building my team out, and when looking at his team, I did notice one thing. Specifically, I thought Mega Ampharos put in a lot of work, so that's actually the first mon that I decided immediately that I was bringing. I saw Mega Ampharos, and I was like, okay, I can hit Tornadus and Milotic super effectively with Stab. He only has one Dragon immunity with Alcremie, and with Focus Blast coverage, I can hit a lot of the switch-ins pretty effectively. I looked at it, when I was looking at my team and looking at his team, I really didn't think Alcremie was coming. I wasn't sure, but I think things like Jirachi really scare something like that away, especially when you have different things like Weavile and Rhyperior that already have like not so much of a great matchup against Jirachi. I mean, Rhyperior hits it super effectively, but Jirachi is faster and also can hit Rhyperior super effectively, and there's also the possibility of flinching. So yeah, I didn't think that Alcremie was coming, and so I really thought, okay, between Dragon Stab and Electric Stab, and then having Focus Blast to hit a lot of the switch-ins, I thought, okay, this could be solid. So the next mon I wanted to bring, and originally my thought was, if Mega Ampharos is my win condition, then I want to get it under Trick Room. So originally the team had a very defensive Porygon 2. I ended up deciding that I didn't like the defensive Porygon 2. This was after a couple of mock battles with the original team, and shout out to very good player in the TBA as well as in a few other leagues that I'm in, Nintago. Him and I were doing some mocks, and he sent me over a Porygon set afterwards that was a lot more offensive, and we were kind of talking through the sets, and I was like, I really like the offensive pressure that Porygon can really put on, especially against potential leads. So like Tornadus, like Weavile, Rhyperior, Ferrothorn. I thought it can definitely put on some serious pressure. So I was like, okay, I think I like this. So after Porygon, I was like, okay. The next thing I really thought was, all right, I need to make sure that I can keep Porygon potentially healthy, even though it has access to recover, as well as Mega Ampharos. So I was like, okay, third Mon was Jirachi. So Jirachi was really interesting because I knew that it could put in a lot of work in this particular matchup. And one thing that was nice about Jirachi is I knew that because of its speed tier, that if Mega Gallade came, which I 100% expected it would, then he had to be Jolly or else I was outspeeding. So I made sure that I was able to sort of like speed creep there a little bit and make sure that if in fact Mega Gallade did come and it was an adamant Mega Gallade, then my Jirachi would be able to sort of attack first, and there could be potentially some flinch shenanigans as well. Or actually, no, because never mind, because Mega Gallade gets inner focus, I believe. So no flinches, but yeah, I thought that having Jirachi be able to outspeed Mega Gallade would be useful, and then just the Wish Pass ability, and also being able to sort of EV to live EV, and I'll tip my hat here, I was also running Culverberry for a dark, reduced dark super effective damage. I was able to really win the one-on-one against Weavile too, which I really wanted to make sure, because Weavile ran through my team if unchecked. So yeah, so that was sort of my thought process there. And then so the fourth Mon that I added to this team was actually Tapu Fini. So originally I had a Specs variant, and Specs Tapu Fini did hit this team very hard, but the ability to switch moves is something that I really found useful, especially after doing a couple of mocks and realizing, like, yeah, Specs Fini hits hard, but it's a forced switch when something like Ferrothorn comes out, assuming that Ferrothorn's still alive. So I decided to go for a more setup variant with Calm Mind, and I also originally I didn't have a way to get rid of hazards, and like because a lot of the calcs for avoiding things like Mega Gallade setup and Poltegeist setup, I really needed to make sure that I got as limited chip. I really need to make sure that I got as limited chip as possible. So putting Defog on Tapu Fini is my way of hopefully doing that. So the fifth Mon that was added to the team was Togekiss. So Togekiss, I ended up deciding that Choice Scarf was the right call. I was able again to speed creep Mega Gallade, which is really nice, as well as be able to speed creep Weavile. So my thought is, if he doesn't expect a Togekiss Scarf, then if he I basically what I'm trying to do is I'm hoping that I can get a sort of late game Togekiss Mega Gallade situation. The only thing I really fear is that he gets multiple Swords Dances up, and then something like Shadow Sneak, if I'm already chipped, could really put in some work. But I guess we'll have to see what happens. So the last Mon, and this was again a Mon that I had Regirock in this slot, and this was sort of like my dedicated Poltegeist counter, because I thought that the rest of my team really covered everything else well. So yeah, the dedicated Poltegeist counter originally was Regirock with a Rindoberry, and I just found after mocks that it was a little lackluster. I did like the ability to be able to switch in on Arcanine, and with Clear Body, if Arcanine switched in, like if I predicted a Arcanine switch and then switched in Regirock, then that would be good. But through my mocks, again, shout out on this one, thank you again, Nintago. We were talking about it, and he was just like, what about bringing Crocodile? Like, Crocodile ends up really putting in work against Poltegeist if you can get it in at the same, like, if you can switch it in at the same time. So I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot. So I started running calcs, and I was like, oh, okay, well, Crocodile gets the coverage that I need, and it also needs no investment to Oko a Poltegeist. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it. So I ended up going with Crocodile for the last mon on this team. I really think this team is probably the best that I can put together in terms of this matchup. I really do. I don't think that things like Rapidash or Go-Go really have too much, or Crobat even. I really don't think that those mons on my team have a good enough matchup. I did, again, flirt with the idea of bringing Regirock, but I think Crocodile, at the end of the day, is probably going to be more valuable with the Intimidates on Ferrothorn, as well as Arcanine, and the ability to just kind of take some of the items. If I can knock off a Flame Orb off of Milotic, or Leftovers or Assault Vest on Rhyperior or on Ferrothorn, I think that'll be super, super helpful. Yeah, so this is the general team analysis for this, team analysis / team builder for this matchup in this week in TBA. I am still torn if I'm going to continue to do this, or if I'm going to do more traditional, like, team builder where I actually show the movesets and show my spreads. I'll leave a comment below and let me know what you guys think of this, and if you'd prefer a team builder, then I can do a traditional team builder. But this is sort of an idea I had where it was able to show off what I'm bringing and show my thought process on sort of why I'm bringing the things without necessarily showing off sort of all of the tech and all of the spreads and all that good stuff. Oh, I also want to make sure that I shout out TRT. He was very helpful in original brainstorming of the team and just general conversation around sort of what types of things I should look for and things like that. So yeah, definitely another huge help. Thanks. All right, so playing the game sometime Saturday afternoon. So after that, I'll do a battle recap, and then we'll go from there. All right, thank you very much.